I did. All right, here we go. We are ready to open another DC Multiverse figure, and this is the Psycho Pirate from Crisis on Infinite Earths. You can see that's a gold label Mcfarlane figure. That means it's store exclusive, which in this case was a store exclusive for the Mcfarlane online toy store. What's the address for that? Surely they put it on here, since it's from that website. I'm sure you can find it, but the McFarlane toy website where you order things directly from McFarlane online, they ship these to me really fast. I'm gonna have to consider buying more stuff from them in the future. Go ahead and slice that. Uh, there is a picture of the Monitor on the back, and that is the character. This is the Build-A-Figure piece. Right now, it's 7:30 in the morning. It's April 1st. It's April Fool's Day, and I have officially announced my retirement from April Fool's pranks because last year I did a great April Fool's prank on Facebook where I pretended to be a fan of Robert Pattinson's Batman, and it was hilarious because that movie's terrible. Worst version of Batman ever. Oh man. So I'm gonna start with Psycho Pirate because he's the one that comes with the main part of the torso, as you can see. There it is. And then the next figure will be the Spectre, since he comes with the head and the cape. And then I will move on to Kid Flash, who has the legs, and then finally Earth 2 Superman. So this entire wave, as you might guess, is based on the Crisis on Infinite Earths comic book series. So all these characters are characters that had a prominent role in that series. And Psycho Pirate is really the most important thing I think about Psycho Pirate is not necessarily what he did in Crisis, but what he did after Crisis, because he wound up being the only character that remembered the multiverse. That's the thing that's most important about Psycho Pirate. So the original Psycho Pirate was a character that had several Medusa masks that each one could control a different emotion, bring out a different emotion in people. But the Silver Age Psycho Pirate, who still was an Earth 2 character, but he was introduced during the Silver Age, that's this guy, he melted down all the Medusa masks into one Medusa mask that can control all emotions. So, but yeah, his main claim to fame is being the guy who remembers the way the multiverse was before the Crisis, and that made him eventually the arch nemesis of Power Girl once they refigured Power Girl's backstory back into being the cousin of the Earth 2 Superman, and she became the only survivor of the multiverse, basically. Even Psycho Pirate, once Crisis happened, he wound up having his own history on Earth 1, but that did not happen for Power Girl. So we got two bubbles here on the card. I usually prefer, well, I always prefer when it's one bubble, so it makes it easier for me to get the trading card out, but thankfully I got it out with no problem this time. And here we have a lovely piece of artwork of the Flash, not a piece of artwork of the Psycho. I mean, the Psycho Pirate's on there, but he's not obviously the focus of this. He's unconscious, and Flash is holding him by the shirt. But really, it's a great piece of artwork for the Flash. This is the issue, of course, where the Flash dies. So he got a great cover, a great send off. One of the best deaths that any character ever had in any comic book, I think, is the Flash. And it's a shame that they brought back Barry Allen, I think, because undoing such a great death in the comic books is a shame. And it made him a more interesting character, I think. I think Barry Allen was more interesting as a dead character that was fondly remembered by the other characters than he was when they brought him back. And to prove my point, what did they do when they brought Barry back? They turned him into Wally West. What do you want me to say for that? Anyway, let's check out the trading card. That's what the back looks like. And it says Psycho Pirate, Crisis on Infinite Earths, data file, real name Roger Hayden. In the Crisis on Infinite Earths, Psycho Pirate's particular abilities came in high demand. He was approached by the Monitor, who enlisted him to use his Medusa mask to call other essential personnel to defend the universe who may otherwise be reticent to join. It's a good word, reticent. So rarely you get the opportunity to use it in a sentence. But it wasn't long before Psycho Pirate betrayed the world's defenders to join the Anti-Monitor after being promised a world of his own in the aftermath. When the Anti-Monitor fell, the crisis was resolved and the world was remade. Psycho Pirate remained one of the few beings who remembered the infinite Earths, a knowledge which drove him insane, committing him to a life in Arkham Asylum. Yeah. Oh, hey. Yeah, I really am live, Aunt June. Hello. Happy April Fool's Day. She sent me an April Fool's prank earlier tonight, like right when it became April Fool's Day. So that was the first April Fool's joke I had this year. But yeah, pretty decent bio there. Obviously, it leans heavy into the Crisis on Infinite storyline, which I approve of, since oftentimes, hello. Oftentimes, I will say that they could have gotten a little more specific on some of these bios, and a lot of times they rehash the same bio several times. Like, how many times have we read that same Superman bio? Anyway, that's it for the trading card. Let's go ahead and move on. So we have the figure stand, and it is the standard DC Multiverse figure stand. If I can get it off. There we go. And it has the DC logo embossed on there in glossy black paint. There we go. And then we have the Build-A-Figure piece, the torso of the Monitor. So let's go ahead and get that out, shall we? And it has the dreaded double rubber tab around the torso. And it's a good thing they put a rubber tab around it, because otherwise, you see how easily it falls out. I actually did get it to fall out. But there's the Monitor's torso. We can see that he's got the pink skin that the character had. Got some nice texture on there. But let's not delve too deeply into this. We're going to do an episode where we talk about we have to do an episode where we talked about the Monitor. So I was planning on doing this steel figure on Friday, but I think that's going to get delayed to Saturday because we got to talk about the Monitor figure, don't we? So anyway, where did I put that knife? I just had that knife. There it is. Okay. So then we got more double rubber tabs around the torso. I kind of wonder if some younger viewers, if I have any younger viewers who aren't really familiar with Silver and Bronze Age comics, look at this dude and be like, why is this guy dressed like Harley Quinn? Well, he was dressed like this way before Harley Quinn was even a twinkle in Paul Dini's eye. But I'm not sure why they decided to go with like a Harlequin type design for him. They probably just thought it looked cool. Anyway, I think that's all the rubber tabs. Got a couple around his elbows and a couple around his shins, and the double rubber tab, the dreaded double rubber tab around the waist. Yeah, I got home from work not long ago, and I figured I might as well get him out of the way. And then I can do the Spectre later tonight, and that can technically be the video for tomorrow. So I was wondering maybe if his Medusa mask was removable, because it does appear to be a separate piece of plastic, but it does appear to be firmly glued to his face. Maybe some brave soul will attempt to remove the Medusa mask from the face of the Psycho Pirate to see if it has this unmasked face underneath. But for me, I think I'll be content to leave it on there. Now, I was expecting that this was going to be a reuse of the parts from Blue Beetle / Booster Gold / the Riddler, which I happen to have right here. and I want to see if there are any parts in common. It looks like they do indeed share the legs and the abdomen, different trunk piece. Looks like the arms are the same, at least the upper arms, and the lower arms might be the same except for the gauntlet over the Riddler's forearms. And the upper torso seems to be a new piece, whereas you can see that this one has a little more muscular detail sculpted into it. This one is sculpted so we get a little more of the wrinkling of the shirt, and but it does reuse a lot of the pieces from this particular buck, which I believe was originally created for Blue Beetle, but it was also used for several other figures. Booster Gold in the same Blue Beetle 2-pack. The Nightfall Nightwing reuses a lot of these parts. It's a good buck. I don't mind them reusing it because it works. I'm pretty sure that's what they made it for. So, but he does have a new torso, new pelvis, new cape, new head, but doesn't seem to have any extra hands. Nope, there's no extra hands in there. So no accessories at all. I do wish again that they had made the Medusa mask removable, and then he could have held the Medusa mask as an accessory. Sorry, I'm having a hard time talking. I'm probably just too tired. But and he's got the masks of comedy and tragedy on his shirt, and they seem to be done pretty well. Let's go ahead and talk about the articulation. All right, so Psycho Pirate can look up about that far. He can look down about that far. He can tilt his head kind of quizzically from side to side. Move his head all the way around. It's on a good ball joint. Arms rotate all the way at the shoulder. Got a butterfly joint. He can move his arms in about that far and move his arms out about that far with the shoulder joint. He does have a bicep swivel, so the bicep rotates all the way around. He moves arms up about that far. So pretty good range of motion moving them up. And then they rest at the sides, about like that. So he does have the double jointed elbows. Pretty good range of motion on the elbows. He's got the Mcfarlane wrist ball joints that move all the way around. Move them around whichever way you want. He has two hands. One is an open hand for holding an accessory, even though he doesn't have any accessories. But if you want to give him some kind of accessory, he can hold it. And he has a closed fist on the other hand. Oddly enough, a lot of the times when we see this, it's the right hand. If he's only got two hands and one of them's open and one of them's a fist, usually it's the right hand that's open and the left hand that's a fist. But I guess Psycho Pirate's a lefty, so he's going to hold things with his left hand. All right. He does have the cool Mcfarlane torso articulation. We can move him around every which way like that. Pretty neat. And I accidentally swapped his whole abdomen around when I did that. He can bend down about that far, bend back about that far. Yeah, about that far. Legs can kick forward about that far. He can do the splits, no problem. There we go. Legs move forward about that far. Knee joints are double jointed. That's about the range of motion on the knee. No boot cut whatsoever, but he does have the cool Mcfarlane ankle articulation, so you can still rotate his ankle all the way around. Ankle, this is a little stiff, and it's got that ratchet thing going on. Ankle points down about that far. Ankle points up about that far. And then he's got toe articulation just to show off. So, yeah. Psycho Pirate is a pretty basic figure that reuses a pretty basic buck, but it's a good buck, so I'm not complaining about that. Just calling it like it is. He's got a nice cape with some good pliability to it, so it's not going to hinder you too much when you get him into some crazy poses. And then he's got the figure stand to hold him up. He's not a particularly detailed figure as far as Mcfarlane figures go, but it's a Silver Age costume that really doesn't need a whole lot of ridiculous detail to it. He's not a movie character with a surface detail. He's a guy in tights with a metal mask and a cape. So and they did a nice job with the cape. I like the cape an awful lot. So Psycho Pirate, I think, is for a lot of people probably a character that they would give a pass on. Like, he's not like a hugely popular villain, but I think he's an important enough villain. I would want to have him in my collection anyway. I will say that out of all these, he was probably the one that I was least excited about going into. But hey, I also just remembered I still got that Animal Man figure I got to open up, and he was a major character in Animal Man when that series was starting up. Grant Morrison really took advantage of his being one of the few characters that remembered how the multiverse was before the crisis combined everything into one Earth. I seem to remember Shazam was another one. Not Captain Marvel, the Wizard Shazam was another one who can remember things before the crisis. So he definitely gets a recommend from me. Although I'm sure a lot of people just like wouldn't really be interested in having this character because he is like a little bit more of an obscure villain than most. I don't think he would probably sell quite as well as say Lex Luthor or the Joker or Brainiac or somebody like that. Aunt June says, I never heard of him, but I didn't read comics growing up. Well, he probably would have been around when you would have been that age if you had read him. So, but yeah, like and like he was a villain of the Justice Society mainly. So he wasn't even really in like the mainstream DC universe. He was in the Earth 2 DC universe. So, but I like him. I think he's a pretty cool character. I think he would look really nice next to the Animal Man figure that was at Target exclusive recently. And of course, I had that Animal Man figure. I just haven't gotten around to opening it yet. So he'll be something that'll be coming up shortly, I'm pretty sure. Especially since I've got this Psycho Pirate figure to go next to it. So that's pretty much it for Psycho Pirate. Later on, late tonight, probably. Late tonight / early Tuesday morning, I will be opening up the Spectre, which is the one that I am most excited about of this wave. Let's go ahead and get him out of the mailer box. Oh, he's a nice looking figure. So we're going to have plenty to talk about with him. And you can see that he's got the Monitor's head and the Monitor's cape in there. So we can go ahead and be putting that together. Ah, he's cool looking. Spectre is one of my favorite characters. So I'm looking forward to talking about him for a little bit. And if you want to make sure that you don't miss that, what you want to do is like and subscribe and make a comment, hit the little bell down there, and do all that fun YouTube stuff. And that'll make sure that you get notified if you hit that little bell when I go live next. And like I said, it's probably going to be sometime either late tonight or early tomorrow morning. They're both kind of the same thing when you get to that point. Sometime between midnight and 5 o'clock. That's when I'm going to do this video, I think. So that's pretty much it for this time. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it. We will talk to you next time. Bye.